coincidence, but something that he feels could actually be at the center of it all from a geographical point of view, from a historical point of view, and from a raw military point of view. And now I'm going to play out this report, viewers, that tells you why this is at the very core of this entire conflict. And unless this is addressed, the Alaska summit may in fact only lead to partial gains, if any.
The distance from Warsaw to Moscow, just 1,200 kilometers. If Ukraine had joined NATO, Western missile systems would sit only 450 kilometers from the Russian capital. For Putin, that's an existential threat. NATO's military footprint in Poland is already significant. Missiles, troops, surveillance, all active and operational on Russia's western edge. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, NATO has expanded eastward. 14 new members, including 7 former Soviet bloc states, were added in 2024 alone. Vladimir Putin claims the West broke its word, that NATO had promised not 1 inch of eastward movement. The West denies any formal agreement, but in the Kremlin, the end of the Warsaw Pact was on the premise that there will be no expansion. And each time a former Soviet state drifted westward, Russia responded with force. Georgia in 2008, Crimea in 2014, and Ukraine in 2022. The pattern is unmistakable. Now Russia and Belarus are preparing for Zapad 2025. It's a massive joint drill near NATO's eastern flank. 13,000 troops, live-fire exercises, and deployment of nuclear-capable Orshnik missiles. These weapons are being stationed in Belarus, a country that already served as a launch pad for the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russia is deploying electronic warfare systems just 20 kilometers from Estonia, a NATO member. These systems can jam radars, block GPS, and cripple battlefield communication. Putin's objectives may not be to conquer NATO territory, but to break the alliance from within. A limited incursion, a drone strike, a cyber attack. Designed not to win a war exactly, but to expose lack of unity. NATO leaders now warn Russia could launch a military operation against the alliance within 5 years. Intelligence suggests the Kremlin is preparing for precisely that scenario. In response to the shifting threat, Finland and Sweden have joined NATO, extending its reach and reshaping Europe's security map. But Russia's defense industry is outproducing the West, and its electronic warfare systems are disrupting operations across the Baltic. To Moscow, NATO is not a defensive alliance. It's a network of forward bases, inching closer with each year. And for Vladimir Putin, the red line, well, it's no longer just theoretical.
All right, viewers, on that note, a quick break on Faultlines. We come back and talk more about the Alaska summit, where it looks like there is possibility of some sort of a breakthrough in this long conflict. Stay with us. We come back with that and lots more.
With Post Office Over 50's life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Mum created something that was pretty phenomenal. Now we can share these amazing creations with the world.
We are 역잔 Chile.
And we're powered by Shopify.
Aye.
Good idea. It's never too early to consider my pension options.
With II's low flat pension fees, you could retire with more.
Really? Aye.
Helping you get the most out of your pension.
Nice.
Aye.
So many investment opportunities!
Interactive Investor, a WITch recommended SIP provider 3 years running. The II SIP, your personal pension.
Please, can you send someone out? The poor thing is so skinny, I don't think he can walk. Oh, the poor thing. This is awful.
Okay, let me take an address.
Today, the RSPCA will answer over 2,000 calls about animal cruelty and neglect.
It's just completely unacceptable, isn't it, mate?
Today, we will need to take over 100 animals into our care. Today, we urgently need your help to save them. Please call 0800 121 4219. Every minute of every day, animals are suffering heartbreaking cruelty and neglect. Every day, our team works tirelessly to save them. A gift of just £2 a month will help us do even more. Answer more calls, rescue more innocent animals, and provide more life-saving treatments. But today, animals are suffering terrible abuse and neglect. Help us save them.
He's just been left tied up, I think. Poor thing's got no hair on him. He's in a terrible state.
Today, please call 0800 121 4219 or text TODAY to 81400 and give £2 a month. That's 0800 121 4219. Thank you.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Countdown to the Alaska summit that the world is watching and is on the edge. As we've been covering this entire conflict, viewers, let's also now talk about what is really some of the areas that are likely to be covered in terms of the stakeholders and their objectives or what they are looking to achieve from this important visit, from this important summit that is going to take place soon. Very quickly, I'm going to walk you through what is it that Donald Trump is looking at. He wants a ceasefire. He actually wants that Nobel. Don't forget that. He wants to ensure that there is a possibility of a follow-up trilateral meeting, which we've spoken about, where a second summit that Zelensky and Putin could actually be on the table together. And land swaps is what he's actually trying to avoid without actually having Ukraine's approval for it. What is it in it that Russia really wants to achieve from this summit? Use it to advance its strategic position. Remember, it's actually the Russian plan that's on the table that will be discussed between the two leaders. Seek the recognition of the occupied Ukrainian territories, Luhansk, Donetsk, and the Russian-speaking belt. That's crucial and critical for the entire conflict and for Vladimir Putin to really be able to extract that and formalize that in an arrangement. Possibly push for neutral or favorable terms. That's exactly what he's looking at. That peace plan that he has put forth allows for that, and that's something that many people in America feel could be a huge disadvantage. Lastly, what Ukraine wants is, of course, peace, wants that their sovereignty is not undermined. Let's tell you the other aspect that is looking at it primarily, that no territorial concessions. That's the first and most important aspect that Ukraine wants out of this. No concessions whatsoever, and insist on being part of all discussions. That isn't happening in the first phase of the summit, but could potentially happen going forward. But will that actually happen? Will there be a second summit after the first one is a key aspect. NATO guarantees and several of the other aspects is what the Ukrainian side really wants to. Let's now quickly get in Professor David Dunn, who's a professor of international politics, joining us live on the broadcast. Thanks much, Professor David, for speaking to me on Faultlines. Let me first start by asking you in terms of where things stand right now. Are you hopeful of some sort of a ceasefire that can actually come out of the Alaska summit?
In a word, no. I think, as you indicated in your remarks just now there, the sides actually are quite far apart, very far apart, in terms of what their objectives are. The Russians feel confident in both the progress they're making on the battlefield, the momentum they have in general, and their ability to actually prevail in any negotiations with the Americans, to the extent to which they haven't given any indication of reducing their maximalist demands.
Professor David, then I hate to interject you there, sir, but very quickly I want to ask you then, will this then signal yet another turn in the grinding war? Then if it's not ending, then it clearly means some sort of an inflection point.
But that is a potential outcome for that. It's possible that Trump could come away from this and put increasing pressure on Russia, both economically and in terms of secondary sanctions on India and other countries. But it's also possible, as many of the Europeans fear, that Trump will put pressure on Zelensky to make more concessions than he is currently prepared to do. So the stakes are very high in this conflict, and it's really a situation that could go either way, partly because we have two very unpredictable protagonists involved in this summit, and it's possible that we can get a variety of outcomes.
All right, Professor David, thanks much. I believe we're going to speak more on this the moment the Alaska summit starts and we get to know whether there is actually any breakthrough or not. I'm going to leave it there. Viewers, let's now talk about the weaponry, the ammunition, all of which has been very important and central to this war. And the kind of weaponry that's actually been used on both sides includes everything from refurbished F-16s to the drones that Ukrainians have been able to master. My colleague Vishal Vivek puts that all together in this report.
As hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian and Russian soldiers are engaged in the most brutal conflict of their lives, it is actually heavy machinery shaping the war. As the war rages on, we zoom in on the most iconic weapons of Moscow and Kyiv that have reshaped the battlefield. Dubbed St. Javelin, this fire-and-forget missile has reduced Russian tanks to burning hulks, its top-down strike even defeating advanced T-90s. The complete system costs about $178,000. Since mid-2022, HIMARS has shattered Russian ammo depots and command posts far behind enemy lines. In March, dozens of Russian troops were killed in a HIMARS strike on Kherson military range. Approximately priced at $5 million per launcher, each rocket costs around $100,000. Now, the most famous U.S. export to Ukraine, the Patriot air defense system, and they have stunned the world, frequently shooting down Russia's unstoppable Kinzhal missiles, protecting Kyiv from catastrophe. Priced at around a whopping $1 billion for a full battery, each interceptor missile costs around $4 to $5 million. Another iconic U.S. weapon Ukraine has been using is the F-16 fighter jet. These aircrafts have been performing effectively in Ukraine's defense operations. Experts have highlighted the aircraft's successes against Russia's cruise missiles and attack drones. F-16s can cost anywhere between $40 million and $70 million, with the price varying based on the specific configuration and upgrades. The Russian president had boasted about Kinzhal missiles during its unveiling. They have been fired at Kyiv in multiple waves, only to be famously intercepted by Ukraine's Patriot system. On the other hand, the Caliber cruise missile has been quite successful for Russia. Used in mass barrages, they have been used to target Ukraine's energy infrastructure, causing many power blackouts. Each missile can cost up to $6.5 million. In the vast Russian arsenal, it is safe to say that the cheap Shahed drones have inflicted the most damage. Often unleashed in swarms, they have overwhelmed Ukraine's air defenses. The legendary T-90 rolled into battle in eastern Ukraine, fitted with advanced reactive armor and infrared jammers. However, it has not been able to replicate its past successes in the battlefield, as several tanks were destroyed by Ukraine's javelins, turning this symbol of Russian might into a cautionary tale of modern anti-tank warfare. Each weapon embodies a strategy, agility, affordability, and pinpoint defense versus overwhelming firepower and armored might, and every strike is measured not just in damage, but in dollars. As missiles rain, drones swarm and tanks burn, the war is more than a battlefield. It's a ledger, cost, capability, and catastrophe.
Viewers, bottom line is that this is a war which started with NATO's eastward expansion. It will not end till there is clarity on that. Putin's ultimate aim is twofold: get as much buffer territory as possible between Russia and several of the other NATO countries and the weaponry that is installed there, which includes Donetsk, Luhansk and that entire region, and also ensure that there is a sizable reduction of NATO troops near its borders, and possibly even on the entire European continent. Now, this is something that Europe will not agree to, not after putting in billions and billions of dollars into the conflict, both by the EU as well as the US. But viewers, also remember that Donald Trump is a man in a hurry. He needs his Nobel. Any movement is progress for him and grounds for yet another recommendation letter for Nobel. But it's not just his pride that's on the line, it's also Vladimir Putin's, whose legacy is also at stake here. And viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Faultlines. Thanks so much for watching. Next week, we're going to come out with another set of conflicts and wars that we will decode right here for you.
It's funny that with unexpected bills, like your car breaking down, a dude on a white horse never comes to save you.
You can't park there, mate.
And your kid's wizard obsession doesn't work on broken boilers.
This is where Lending Stream come in. Short-term loans from £50 to £1,500.
Apply online, 6 months to pay it back. Take back control with a short-term loan from lendingstream.co.uk. Representative APR 1,271%.
This is an urgent appeal from Hope and Homes for Children. Right now, an estimated 5.4 million children around the world are suffering, separated from their families by being placed in orphanages. But the vast majority of them are not orphans at all. Orphanages can expose children to abuse and trafficking. The physical and psychological trauma can last a lifetime. Tabitha was separated from her family for 6 years. Imagine being locked away, separated from the people you love, frightened, alone. You have the power to help get children like Tabitha back to family. Call 0800 472 5218, text FAMILY3 to 88008, or search online for Hope and Homes for Children to give £2 a month. Hope and Homes for Children has been working to stop the institutionalization of children worldwide for over 30 years. Your support can help provide emergency care, trace families, and stop children being placed in loveless orphanages. Please, bring joy to children's lives. Donate today. Thank you.
Some people think life slows down in your 50s, but I'm just getting started. And I don't want my lot to have to worry about funeral costs. Let them spend their money on nicer things. So I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Go online or talk to their friendly